Hello, thanks for listening this Music and Math podcast. Today is May 14th, 2023. So today it's Sunday. As usual, I'm recording this podcast for the next Friday night. But I'm wondering this weekly releasing cycle because, that's gonna be today's topic, I think. My daily life is changing right now. So I might reorganize my daily rituals. That's another topic I'm going to talk, I guess, today. A lot of things have changed and will change many things also in the next, I don't know how long. The thing is, it's delicate things to say, how to say. Basically, I quit my job. So there are many, not so many, there are range, spectrum, about this one. From getting fired to quit by yourself. So those two are extreme, two ends of the spectrum. And in the middle, there is quitting with a mutual agreement, happily situation. That is in the middle. And which one I'm in is, I would say, happily quitting with a mutual agreement. Anyway, I quit my job, the last job. And now I'm free. I don't have any responsibilities at all except my own and my family. I'm now spending my paid holidays. So officially speaking, I'm still an employee, but I have nothing to do. So that happened actually the end of April last month, just before Golden Week, the long holiday season in Japan. At that time, I planned for the Golden Week holidays, right? So for me, since then, even till now, just I'm in the holiday kind of feeling. So I need to find next job, and I'm thinking, to do that. I need an idea. I need a plan. I need the vision. I need a direction, which way I should move. This is totally unexpected stuff for me until that time, the end of April. So I have no idea at the time, and even now, I'm still thinking. I worked as a programmer, engineer, R&D engineer for last 14 years in Japan, Kanazawa. And actually, working in a private company as a normal employee. Here in Japan, we call it salaryman. This is my first salaryman experience, employment for the first place. And in Japan, there are many local rules, customs, culture stuff, and I avoid, those stuff. It's weird, and I don't like that from the beginning. When I was a university student, most people, after graduating university undergrad 4 years, they start working. And the final year, fourth year of their study, practically students are working for a job hunting, applying many companies, doing interview, wearing weird, so-called the recruit suit. And I was watching those normal people when I was a university student. because I made my mind that I'm going to the grad school. And even around that time, I made my mind that I want to be a researcher scientist. So I don't care about those careers. And I'm just watching my friends are doing that. It's weird, right? Because there is no manual, there is no textbook how to follow that custom, but somehow everybody wearing almost the same type of suit, the hair color. So after I quit my job, I was thinking, okay, so what's the next move I should do? And to do that, I need to look back my past, right? What I did so far, because that's me and that's my experience, expertise. And what can I do? How can I contribute? What do I want to do? That kind of thing. So let me summarize here my life, let's say, right? I'm not sure it's a good idea for this podcast episode or not, but that's the main thinking these days, of course. Everything else is secondary, right? The famous Steve Jobs phrase. I'm thinking my life. And it's a good time, usually if you are working, you have something to do. You need to do, right? But now I'm free. So this is a very precious time, I think. And so let's get back what I did in the past. So I was working in a rather small private company in Japan, in a countryside here, Kanazawa. When I look back, actually, Kanazawa is the second longest place I've ever lived in my life. Yeah, time flies. It's partly because I'm getting older, so my feeling of time passing is, I'm getting less sensitive about the time, I guess. Yeah, I'm surprised that this is 14 years here in Kanazawa. Actually, I started the last job from the Golden Week season. Yeah, it is kind of a coincidence, but personally, it's something for me, I think. Usually here in Japan, things start on April 1st. School start on April 1st. So most regular lifestyle, the job will start on April 1st. Right? Fiscal year start on April 1st, usually. But I'm a irregular one. And somehow my life here in Japan, things happen the timing of this Golden Week season 1 month later from the normal people. And that time, 14 years ago, as I said, this is my first normal employment in Japan as salaryman. Before that, I was researcher scientist and working abroad for a long time, roughly 10 years. And so it's a big career change I experienced. And the job was, as I said, writing a program, computer program, which is my hobby for a long, long time since I was a kid. My parents, my father bought us, for me, for my brother, and for himself, I think, personal computer. That was when I was 10, around that time. Since then, I'm playing with computer, and I love that. I wrote programs. Yeah. These days, in school, kids are learning computer and English as well. It's a big difference from our generations. Yeah. That was when 80s, I guess. My first computer is, do you know, electronics maker in Japan. It's Osaka-based, I guess, Sharp. And my father bought us MZ80B. That was my first computer, and I've learned a lot of stuff on that computer. CPU is Z80. At that time, it's the 8-bit CPU computer, the first generation of a personal computer, I guess. That machine, MZ80B, one of the difference or characteristics, the power of that model is the graphics. It's a all packaged computer, meaning that there is a keyboard as well as CRT, display, and cassette tape recorder for the data storage purpose. And the display is the one. That model, MZ80B, looks like similar to the former models, but they can not only characters are displayed, but we can control every bit. So we can draw a picture, graphics, although it's a monochrome, and I believe it's binary, on and off, I guess. The resolution is like 320 by 240, but we can control everything. With that, I've learned binary numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, counting by your fingers, And I've learned the English word pattern, pattern, with that extended basic language, controlling the graphics, bitwise graphics, right? And around that time, I was just a elementary school kid. I have no idea what pattern means, pattern. English is totally, so in a sense, I've learned English from the computer language, I guess, I would say. Yeah, so the computer is my thing since then. It's not on the normal curriculum in school, but I've learned everything before I'm getting to the university where people meet the computer time sharing system on the server. Anyway, yeah, so after, going back to Japan and looking for my job, my option will be becoming a computer programmer will be the most possible way. And yeah, I did that. But, as I said, I was a researcher, basically. And the researcher, scientist mindset is so different from engineer's mindset or the salaryman's mindset. How to say? The reason why I can survive that position, Japanese salaryman work environment position, that was my biggest concern when I'm looking for new job in Japan, and even after I start the job, can I do it? As I said, a bit weird Japanese custom way of employment. But the reason why I can survive, I can work in a good way, is that this company have understanding of the research and development needs, how important that aspect is. Even though the company's size is not that big, like a 15 employee kind of thing, it has R&D, research development division section group in it. And actually, I was ahead of that group. The number of people is like 5 members out of 15. It's quite big section of the company, and it's very rare thing, especially in Japan. In such a small size company, we have our own R&D section, and actually we're standing by ourselves. That is the main reason why I can work for such a long time, I guess. And that is the reason why I'm leaving the company. Yeah, simply speaking, company decided that they stopped having R&D group. They're rather focusing on the more application development. That is partly because the AI technologies are getting matured. There is no space that, keeping their own R&D section to build custom technology. It's pointless. Yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, as a R&D member in such a small group, what I did is Our company's specialty is about the technology around the 360 picture for a long time. Over 20 years history we have, meaning that far before when I joined this company. And even when I joined the company 14 years ago, at the time we don't have any handy 360 camera like Ricoh's Theater or Insta360's camera. Just pushing a button, then we get 360 picture. That's a kind of dream like 14 years ago. Around that time, 14 years ago, what we did is basically we have two choices. One is that using mirror, it's a big parabola shaped mirror and attached to the DSLR. No, DSLR, digital single lens reflex camera. In Japanese, we call it ichigan ref, but in English, DSLR. Difficult. Those acronym. These days, there is reinforcement learning with human feedback. RLHF. So annoying for those. It's not clear to me. But anyway. Yeah, 14 years ago, we have basically two choices. One is buying those 360 mirror and put it in front of your DSLR. With that, we can take 360 picture by one shot. Although the top part and the bottom part are missing, but main part are taken by one shot. That's advantage. The quality is so-so. If you really want high quality at the time, your choice is stitching. So using fisheye or wide range lenses on your DSLR, you took several pictures using some gadget on top of a tripod. And after shooting the scene, like 10 shots more, you need stitching on the software side. So it's a very tedious and very complicated procedure around that time. We developed image processing software by ourselves. So that's our style. We do everything by ourselves, not buying a library or external services, that kind of thing. We are standing by ourselves. So we have a R&D section in the company, right? So my first appointment task I did in this company is to rewrite image conversion program in a general way. Developing a stitching software is my target. And to do that, so we need a general framework. And I kind of generalized the existing image conversion software in a general way. But in the middle of the development, camera hardware is also progress. And as you know, the Ricoh just released theater camera, the first consumer level simple handy 360 camera on the market. It's a breakthrough. Yeah, it's a real breakthrough, I think. With that, nobody need a stitching procedure. It's tedious, complicated, but at the same time, it's delicate process. Everything can be bypassed. Of course, the downside is that the quality is at the time so-so. So the real pros are still doing stitching with a big lens and tedious stitching procedure with DSLR cameras. But most people just go to the simple one-shot choice. Yeah, that's fun and good experience. Cameras are very interesting, the lenses and the projection. There are many types of projection: image projection, stereographics. It's not side-by-side things. As a projection name, there is stereographic projection and normal perspective projection. There are many types. Interesting. So, and during the course, I've learned a lot of image processing as well as so-called computer vision stuff. So what is the computer vision? Computer vision is high-level image processing, in short. I've learned a lot of things on the O'Reilly's book, good book. Learning OpenCV. The reason why I'm talking about this book is that this is where I've learned machine learning technology for the first place, I guess, in a practical level. Parameter fitting and those numerical techniques. I'm familiar with that because I'm doing computer simulation in physics as a research. So I knew that. But for the computer science point of view or programming point of view, there is a huge area called machine learning and later the deep learning. I noticed that on this computer vision study by myself, and it's a good introduction for the coming deep learning stuff. So I was familiar a bit on those techniques, machine learning stuff, using, preparing a data set and try to get better result kind of thing as a strategy, right? Then Google just released TensorFlow. That was when? 2015 around? Yeah. And as I said, I love computer, I love programming, I love, those cutting edge technologies in general. So I'm watching and I knew that, okay, there is TensorFlow released. Then I play with that. I've learned the basics of so-called deep learning techniques through YouTube. That was a few years later of this TensorFlow release, I guess. That was around, I think, 2017 or something, right? Around that. 2017, around that time, I was curious about the technology and many demonstrations are there and many people are tweeting, oh, we did this, that kind of thing. And I also Googling and looking for the information and run into YouTube video. That was the famous Jeremy Howard's Fast AI's lecture series. And I was so impressed with the style as well as the depth of the video, in a sense, not only on the programmer's point of view, but at the same time, researcher's point of view. The logic is also explained clearly. I think I've learned the basics, all the necessary stuff about the deep learning from Jeremy's videos. And actually, I was so impressed with that. So I started a kind of a similar activity in my way. That was 2018. I did seminar series teaching people the AI technology. The people who are interested in the technology but who are not programmer. It's challenging, right? That spirit is coming from Jeremy's Fast AI's stuff. In his lecture, he's focusing on the programmer, not the researcher kind of thing, right? And I advanced that challenge more higher, one step further, that I believe that anybody who have no experience of coding can build AI model. That was what I thought. And that was the spirit of this AI seminar series in 2018. And we announced it's a paid program. And the price is, from my point of view, the price is very high, expensive. And I'm the lecturer. I have enormous pressure, for the audience, the people. The number of people are like 20s kind of thing. It's very successful, I think. We've present our own custom model, results. How we can do this to the people, and you can do that. And the similar content I've learned from Jeremy's series of lectures as well. So it spans from image classification to the natural language processing as well, I think. Very challenging stuff. That was 2018. And, as I said, that was inspired by our success. As a R&D, as I said, I saw TensorFlow's success and the potential and demonstration. Around that time, 2017, I decided we should shift our attention of the R&D team from rather computer vision type of stuff to the AI stuff. And we shifted at that time. It's a drastic move, I think. And it was successful. There are, many process. We are developing our own service and providing to our customers cloud service. And it involves many complicated procedure like okay, stitching is not necessary these days, but still, to present those set of 360 pictures in a proper way, our main customers are like real estate companies who want to present their own properties like apartment rooms or houses through the internet to their customer using these 360 pictures, the real pictures of the real properties on screen. So you don't need to visit the real properties, but you can see the properties on screen. That's the whole point. And to make a content from the 360 picture, we still need to manipulate, placing the pictures in the proper position and the proper angle, that sort of thing. So our customer need to do many steps manually. And we first apply this deep learning technology to automate those tedious procedures by the computer because we had a lot of data, manually created content, a lot. So we make AI model mimicking those manual process by AI. And it was successful. Yeah, that is the main motivation to do this seminar because we realize that this is a breakthrough for the smaller companies who has the similar situation. They have their own business. Then most likely they have a computer system. They have data. People can automate it somehow. So we want to deliver that news, the power of computer, power of deep learning AI to public. So this action is a kind of our company's public service kind of thing. Begins at 2018. So I think after that, I want to continue that community activities more. So I started so-called AI forum, which is open forum. So anybody can join, anybody can participate the activities, community-oriented activities. We started this since 2019. It's still running. We have once in a month, we get together and have an event. Before COVID, we are gathering at the place and we have speakers and we have audience and we have a kind of a lecture style event every month. But after this COVID situation, we moved to the online Zoom event, but still continuing. The last month in April, we did the latest AI forum. Yeah, these days, the progress of AI is so fast and it's really hard to catching up progress. But anyway, it's running since then. I'm still doing that. Yes, those are the things I've done in the last 14 years as a salaryman. And my job is gone. So what should I do? And I'm thinking, as I said, okay, as a user of AI technology, so it is there, there are many companies, there are many API out there. Some of them cost some money. Some of them are free, open source. So basically, technology is out there. Anybody who really want to use can do that. That's the situation from the user's point of view, right? That is not what I want to do. My mindset is like a researcher mindset. Even in this salaryman phase, as I said, I was in the R&D section, and my mindset was still in a researcher's mindset, I think. Developing something by ourselves, understanding something by ourselves. It takes some time. So in the current rapid progressing situation, it is not useful, practical. It's not useful. Yeah, I understand. So what should I do? I really want to do. Okay, yeah. As I said before, this 14 years career, I was a researcher for more than 10 years. My specialty, okay, I got the PhD in physics, theoretical physics, computational theoretical physics. My expertise is on the hydrodynamics, fluid dynamics in a smaller scale, low Reynolds number hydrodynamics. So one of the major field application is on nanotechnology, where the spatial scale is so small. My last position as a researcher was in Canada, in Canada's National Laboratory for Nanotechnology. That was my last appointment as a scientist. So general science is important, of course, but roughly speaking, I live two worlds work environment. One is academia, one is private companies. So those experiences are my experience and my expertise, my power, I guess. With that, and taking into account the current situation, the time, the year 2023, what I want to do is, I want to do something fundamental, not, trendy one, not catchy one, not short-term profiting kind of thing, but more like a fundamental. In that sense, I want to go back to the academia's feeling. I want to do something fundamental, and I want to work in a sense of public service kind of thing. I realize that the scientists' work and the employees working for the private company, the mindset is so different, right? I realized before experience this salaryman time, I didn't recognize that. But yeah, I think scientists is working for people, all people, no discrimination. All people, we scientists are working for the people. That's the major difference from the rest of the world. I think I realized that. Because, scientists publish their findings, write down everything on the paper, then publish. Anybody can read that, right? Why? Because we are solving a problem, and after solving a problem, we are publishing. We notice everybody that this is the solution, how to solve the problem, right? Scientists is working not for a company, not for a country. We are working for the world. I realized that. I did that actually. After finding a job in Japan, that was 2001, I moved to the Netherlands where I can work as a scientist. That's okay for me completely. And the science community is like that. We are working for humanity in a sense, right? At that time, 2001, I didn't think in this way explicitly, but I realized that this is what I did, and now I want to do for my next career. I want to do that kind of job if possible. And as you know, currently many people are discussing about the AI safety stuff, AI alignment problem. It's debatable. There is no consensus yet, I guess. but nobody can deny the possibility of the disaster except Jan Lucan. I don't know. But yeah, a kind of serious type of person rather. So, and I can't ignore the concern. I watched, as you know, I talked before at some episode that I watched Eliezer Yudkowsky's YouTube video on Bankless show. I believe that was one of the first video, recent concern stuff. And now, as you know, that Jeffrey Hinton is joining to say that there is some concern that we should think, right? And if possible, personally, I want, I can't ignore that. Leave it and play. I can make some profit out of AI technologies. I can't do that. I want to do something fundamental for that, for humanity. I don't know I can do it or not, with my skill set or not, but I personally want to do that if possible. Yeah, honestly speaking, I didn't start any action for my job searching yet. And I'm thinking, I'm this type of person, I want to think first. I want to stop first, then think about the situation, then move. I'm that kind of person. Have you go skiing? I did. My university, Tohoku University, that is in the northern area of Japan. So we have snow in winter. And many friends, my friends at that time, went for skiing in winter holiday. And I tried a few times and I realized that I'm not that type. I mean, to enjoy the skiing, this is my view, you shouldn't stop and think. It's too late. You have to go with it, then handle the situation somehow and enjoy that, that situation. I realized that I'm not that type of person. Yeah, I want to stop, then think, then move. I'm not fast type of person. As you can see, I worked 14 years. And before that, I was a researcher for over 10 years, right? I'm a persistent type. But to do that, I need to think it out and decide by myself. And now I'm in the phase. I'm not sure how I can contribute to AGI stuff, but I want to do that if I devote myself for the next 10 years. And in 10 years, things definitely happened. And I don't want to regret at the time. That's the point. And I don't know, it has some, I was affected or not, but I recently read a book, science fiction book. I also mentioned that in this podcast, so you knew what I'm talking. The book written by Andy Weir, Project Hail Mary. Yeah, I enjoy that. Okay, spoiler. I don't want to spoil your joy. So yeah, I stopped talking about the details, but I want to contribute to the world. And that is the same spirit why I choose as a researcher scientist far before when I was young, 20. So yeah, and then now still, yeah, that's the story. So I talked this topic in the last episode in Japanese, but these days, under these circumstances, I start some new daily ritual habit, that is walking. It's quite refreshing, actually. The important thing is that you need to walk in daytime when most people are walking. That's very important point. The most important point, I think, of this feeling. That feeling reminds me of a memory when I was a kid. Not exact feeling, but how to say, like in elementary school, if you have I realized that, in daylight, daytime, so there is a sun on top of your head, and there is bird singing, and there is wind flowing around you. That feeling is missing for an adult life, don't you think? Especially for programmer kind of job. You're in a room sitting on the desk in front of your computer typing something, right? And I'm enjoying the world these days by this new daily ritual, walking. That is inspired by a book entitled Daily Rituals in the original English title, written by Mason Curry. The subtitle of the book is How Artists Walk. It's a kind of compilation of daily rituals of those artists, famous one. I've read that book, a Japanese translation, and I realized that of course, there are many types of person who loves nighttime, nightlife, who loves early bird type of life, those variations. But one thing I realized that there is a very common elements of those rituals, and that is walking. Not everybody, of course, but there are many people who have walking habit in their daily schedule. I think that is so. I agree with that. Walking is very inspiring for thinking. So, and now, as I said, I have plenty of time, daytime, and so I start walking in the morning. Actually, not early in the morning, but after finishing other daily rituals, that is my lovely Monton, the Shihtzu. She need care, going for walk for her and preparing for food for her. Yeah, after finishing that, usually from 10:30 around that till noon, I go out, walk for an hour or so. So it's like a 6 kilo kind of walk daily. I hope every day, but it's still in the process. I just started this habit a week ago, so I'm still in an adjustment phase. I hope things are settling down as a ritual. Yeah, I start walking and it is good, I think. The purpose is not for enjoying walking, actually. It's not. As I said, now I just started, so walking itself is fun and I'm enjoying that. But that is not my intention. So, what is the intention? My intention is, I want to think myself deeply, carefully, thoroughly. And to do that, this walking habit will help, I think. So, this walking time is for me for walking, for thinking. So, it's a kind of a meditation time for me. Yeah, 1 hour meditation time. Taking 1 hour meditation every day is somehow not uneasy. Maybe because there is too many distractions like SNS, smartphone, computer, internet, that kind of thing. Walking. If you are walking, you can't do anything else but walking. So it's a different stuff activity from running. Running, I'm also want to do that at this occasion for running in that way. Running is you need to really focus on running. For walking, you can do walking automatically, unconsciously. That is what I want. And meditation is what is meditation? Meditation is not thinking. right? And this walking is like for meditation. So it's not for thinking, you know. Yeah, I started, and I think it is helping to see where I am right now and what I am thinking, what I feel. It is interesting, right? I said meditation is not thinking, but I need this to think. Yeah, I feel interesting, but I can't explain in a logical way. I need to think carefully. To do that, I stop thinking everything else. I don't need to explain, right? Yes. About the walking, I have some challenge for that. Yeah, it sounds very contradicting to what I said. Walking is for no thinking, just walking without any specific intention. But anyway, so when you initiate walking project, first thing you have to do is to set the route, the course, which way you are walking in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah, because, as I said, walking, this project is not for walking, it's hopefully things becoming automated. So everything is done unconsciously so that it should be routine. It should be regular. It must be a foundation sort of thing, right? Of course, if you want to enjoy serendipity, so to speak, no preparation at all, then just get out of your room and go whichever you want. That is one way. What I want to do is not that. So for the first few walk sessions, so to speak, I'm wandering, around the possible route, but I restrict myself that never use Google Map outside on walking. Yeah, that's a part of a training, these days, especially after this GPT stuff happened. And when I saw people are so excited about that, after watching those people, I really think that, they're missing something important. And that is train yourself, your brain. Yeah, what is consciousness? What is you? Max Tegmark took definition, the broad one, the most, agreeable one. That is, consciousness is having a subjective experience. Having a subjective experience or not. That is, you are conscious or not, right? The point is the subjective. So who you are different from the rest. So whatever happened outside, you are you. That's the bottom line. So if the real artificial super intelligence emerged, still you are you. So you need to train. You need to be better by yourself, right? That's one repeating, thinking these days. Watching people, watching news of AI. And I talked somewhere in this podcast that some people really depend too much on the technology. And in that context, I said that I saw some internet news that some couple driving on a trip in a strange place, no knowledge at all around that. So, of course, they use Google Map to navigate which way you go. Then, even though in front of you there is a river and there is no bridge, but Google Maps said there is a bridge, so go straight. Then somehow they go straight. Then, of course, stuck with the river. I didn't check the fact checking about the news, so I'm not sure it's fake news or the real news. But it captured something, and that is we somehow miss the importance of simple thing, the reality. I don't know. In front of you, you saw there is no bridge. But if Google Map said there is a bridge, then some people believe that maybe we can pass over the river somehow because Google Map said that. I can imagine that there is a certain type of people who are doing this kind of thing, especially after watching this ChatGPT stuff. Everybody play with this ChatGPT. Basically, in the heart of that system, it is a language model, just a language model, right? Of course, over that core, there are many, many safety layers or some adjustment layers, a lot. But basically, it's a language model. And the language model's potential was actually much, much bigger than we expected before. That is a pure surprise, and that is true. But still, it's a language model. But people's recognition, looks like they're thinking more than that. They're expecting something more than the ability of a language model type of things. Now, in the future, of course, the technology is developing with a very fast pace. So in the near future, of course, we may get some AGI type of agent, I think. But now people are seeing things are like, false bridge on the Google map of that story, I guess. Anyway, okay, so my challenge, not using Google Map on the walking. I was kind of surprised, of course I'm old, so I lived my life without Google Map, those technologies for a long time, right? It's a recent news. Google Map is a recent news. Before, when I was a kid, we kids, first thing we need to memorize is your name and your address for the case that you lost, right? Parents teach them memorizing name and address, maybe our phone number. The phone number, we are memorizing phone number like 30 years ago. 334, so that the 13 digits or more. We are memorizing. Sometimes some people, like a salesperson around that time, they memorize quite a large number of those phone numbers, I guess. But now we have smartphone. Smartphone can do that, memorizing the phone number. As a result, we couldn't memorize those numbers if we want now. If I want to memorize phone number, can I do that? I guess not. Yeah, so we're degrading our brains. And I realized that walking around in town without map, so walking based on the information in front of you, visual information, sound, view, which direction, so the sun is there, so now I'm heading north kind of thing, those information. Before that, like let's say 20 years ago, even in a strange town, if you're in trip, you're visiting some city, totally new for you, you move around, there is a river, and walk around, and we draw a map in your brain, then connecting, get a picture, vision about the city, right? I lost, my skill of that is so rusted when I walk around to figure out which route I took for this walking session without Google Map, without looking into the smartphone. Of course, Kanazawa is a very special town. Even in this suburban area, the road is so weird, so complicated. It's not like Kyoto city. So even though we are walking straight, we think it's curved gradually, unnoticeably. As a result, of course, we are trying to draw a map in your brain. Some cross-section are totally wrong in my brain map. Yeah, so sometimes there are bigger triangle, not bigger square type of road. It's so confusing. So it's very challenging and it's very interesting, Of course, for the walking, I don't want to walk on a bigger road for cars. The manner of the drivers are not good in Japan, or the society for traffic. The car is the center, and the people or bicycles or the rest of the car are not existing. Yeah. Anyway, so I took side road or narrow road, so it's further challenging. So I am training my brain regain the visualizing skill. It is very, a good stimulus for my brain. Retraining your rusty brain, stimulating the old skills. Yeah, we'll see what I get eventually. But the whole point of this walking habit, ritual, is a kind of deeper meditation. So yeah, it sounds contradicting. Anyway, but that's what I'm doing. What else I should talk today? English episode? Yeah. So now I'm in the middle of big change of my life. I don't know what's gonna be happening in the next few months, few weeks. So I said something in the very first part of this episode. I might change this podcast schedule. That means that I have now plenty of time. It is a dream situation. I can manage my time entirely, completely by myself. So this is a kind of a dream situation for me. The problem is that there is no income. For time being, okay, so currently, as I said, I'm in the paid holiday. So that now it's okay, but in a few weeks, in a week, actually, as a matter of fact. Okay, yeah, there is some insurance, in Japan. I am an outsider of this Japanese work environment custom, I'm not get used to it, but most people, for the changing your career, the typical pattern is that you first look for a next job during your current job. Then if you got offer, then you notice the present company that I'm going to quit. So there is no gap, basically. I can't do that, I can't do two things at the same time. Yeah, and here in Japan, there is I don't know, abroad, there is unemployment insurance system in this country. The company is paying the insurance premium to the country. So like me, if you lost your current job, you can get a part of your salary as a compensation or this unemployment insurance for a certain amount of time. So I can get for some time some part of money from that compensation, that unemployment insurance. So, but it's not sustainable solution for me, this dream situation. Everything is, I'm free, free of charge for anybody else but me kind of situation. So I need to find a job, next job. And right now, what I'm thinking is that I want, as I said, I can't do two things, three things, or some fancy things or trendy things. I need to choose one thing that I can completely devote myself into it. I want to think carefully because I'm not that young and I can't play with that, try this, try that kind of thing. I don't have that time, I think. I'm slow, as I said. So, yeah, that's my situation. We'll see. Yeah, this podcast, you will listen to what happened in the future. Yes, that's rather a big news from me. So anyway, yeah. So see you next time. Oh yeah, I'm as I said. So now I have rather free time. I should spend my time for seriously for my job searching. So yeah, maybe I should keep a once a week cycle of this personal podcast program. I guess I should. I think. Why not? We'll see. Oh, by the way, I have another personal hobby project event coming in the next week. It's a self-publishing event of technology book, self-publishing technology book festival. Will start May 20th for 2 weeks, I guess. And I want to publish a book now I'm working on. It's not like a hardcore technology oriented book, but more like a essay. Yeah, actually, I'm talking. So this podcast is my talking, and I'm now compiling essay based on this speaking on this podcast program. But I'm not sure I can finish writing up the book. I mean, I have beside of the major primary job searching project, I have too many hobby projects. That's a problem, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, thanks for listening. Take care. Peace and love.